Today we're starting with Shiplap. Now I always get these comments when we make Shiplap videos. People will say, "That's not real Shiplap." And you're right. You may have noticed too, this is not really the RMS Titanic we're dealing with here either. So I think we'll be okay. So anyways, we're using 1x12s and we're stacking them up on top of each other to create that Shiplap look. And these boards don't even have lap joints in them. They're not even milled at all, other than the fact that they're 1x12s. And we're just gonna space them out though using nickels, nickel gap spacing, and just stack them up on top of each other. First thing I'm gonna do is remove this panel molding that's running along the skirt board. Anytime you're working around stairs, you're usually gonna have to work with these skirt boards. And I'm not removing the skirt boards, we're gonna work around them and I'll make a piece of back band later on. And we're doing this large wall all the way up to 20-foot ceiling, kind of the mid-size wall under the staircase, and then the small wall where I was just removing that trim. First thing I'm gonna do is mark off all my framing, and I'm just gonna use the Franklin stud sensor and just mark that middle light. Then I'm just gonna take my level and plumb up those lines so I have clear line of sight where my framing is when I'm installing. And guys, this is my first ever voiceover video. Never done one in the last 10 years on YouTube. No, it's 9 years really, but hey, if it works, I'll start doing them.
Yo, there's a new pack out offering. It's just been leaked. You're never gonna guess who leaked the pack out box, the new pack out box. And I wanna say, yo, it is an awesome shirt there, Finished Carpentry TV. I wanna say a special thank you to, oh my God, I'm gonna get myself in trouble. They don't talk to me anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
So right here, I'm just ripping a small sample, and this is just to check the reveals and see if I'm happy with it. This is the replacement for the panel molding I just tore out, and I just call this a back band. It makes a nice transition from skirt to shiplap, so I'm happy with that. So I'm taking my full 16-foot boards and ripping them down at 15/16, and I'm gonna use that to trim out the skirt board. And then I'm checking this miter right here with my Stair tool, and also I recorded the single cut of that piece too, because I'm gonna need that later when I start installing the 1x12s. So right here is one of the most important parts of this job. I'm shooting my laser up at the ceiling, and I'm gonna get a reading on this so I can figure out how many 1x12s I can fit up this whole wall with that nickel gap reveal. And the nickel is a 1/16 of an inch. So I figured out that I'm gonna start with the 8-inch board down here, and that'll leave me ending up with almost a complete board at the very top. Because the last thing I want is just to assume I'm gonna have an almost complete board at the ceiling and end up with like a 2-inch strip up there. And it needs to be a full board basically at the top, or it would look odd. So I'm ripping that 1x12 down to 8 inches, and that'll be my first piece that I install. And that will be cut at 54 degrees. All right, so I just realized something. Hopefully I can find a way around it. Cutting these boards on this saw is going to be really difficult because this piece right here is 8 inches, and the boards I'm going to be cutting are 11 1/4. They're 1x12s. So this saw barely cut this board. I just cut it right now. I forgot to turn the camera on or push record on the camera, and you can see how sharp of an angle that is, that 54-degree cut. Not gonna happen with a 1x12 in this saw unless I make half the cut in one direction, then flip the board around and finish the cut, which is, it's possible, but it's not ideal. Doesn't leave you with the cleanest cuts. So I might be able to come up with something else, but I think that's probably what I'm gonna have to do. Okay, so this is my 1x12 right here with my cut in it, and that's maxed out. So that's as much as this saw can cut, and it leaves me about 5 1/4 inches left. Now what I could do is just spin the board around, leave the saw locked in at that 54-degree cut, and then try to line up these curves, finish that cut. The only thing about that is that's really tricky to do if you ever try to do that. It's just really hard to get them lined up dead on, and you have to keep shaving it and keep dialing it in, and I don't want to go down that road. So what I think I can do, I think I can go ahead and, you know, get this one really good. So I'll cut this, and then I'll use this after I cut it as a template on my, you know, solid boards, and then I'll just trace that line as a template, and then I can throw my track saw on there and I can make that cut in one pass. Okay, so here's a look at the setup. Got the track clamped right on my pencil line, that 54-degree cut. So these cuts should be pretty clean, so we'll see how it goes. Well, it might help to set the proper depth so you get a full cut. You know, you just never know what tool you're gonna need. That's why you gotta buy as many as you can and bring them with you every time, because I didn't think I would need a track saw today, but I brought my track and my track saw, keep them in the truck here, and freaking came through. Track saw for the win. So pretty basic after that. I'm gonna keep making these cuts, stacking these boards up, installing them, making sure they're spaced with those nickels, and I'm gonna do this up the whole wall. And I think it's gonna be a nice looking feature for this entry right when you walk in. All right guys, that is going to be a wrap on day one for this project. So I got 4 boards in, and you know what? I'm proud of that, because day one is usually crazy. And I always get these comments that are like, dude, you're slow. But a lot of my day one videos, you know, I'm going to get materials, I'm setting things up, I'm getting the layouts figured out, and I am kind of slow. But you got to remember too, I charge by the hour. So I can't just get these jobs done quick and all the work's gonna dry up, college funds for kids and all that. You gotta think about everything. So, you know, just keep that in mind. But no, I'm just kidding. I'm actually really happy with the progress today, even though it's only 4 boards and a couple of pieces of trim. I got a lot of trim removed. I got everything kind of figured out as far as how I'm gonna stack these boards up. So tomorrow I can just come in and get straight to work. There's literally nothing I have to get. I don't have to set up any tools. I walk in, start measuring, start cutting, and these boards are gonna be stacked up. So my goal tomorrow is to get to the top of that 20-foot ceiling, and I think I can do it. So we'll have to see in the next video. So, hey, thanks for watching guys. I appreciate it, and I will catch you on the next one.